Hello.
We went all the way across town and we got off the train and it was a surprise. I wouldn't tell her where we were going. She's like, tell me where we're going. Tell me where we're going.
What is this? I'm 20 years old and I don't want to see dead people. I know I see them, but I don't want to see them.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him.
Mother thanks you.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And we bring you this podcast from Athens in Greece on the roof terrace. Well, it's not really a terrace, is it? Because terrace is a bit
posh. It's
posh.
just a roof.
It's a roof space.
It is a terrace.
Is it?
Why isn't it?
Because I imagine terrace to have like trees and like
Well, yes.
fake grass and...
Hasn't got the fake grass.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We bring you this podcast from the beautiful, very, very expensive and posh terrace of our Athens Airbnb.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about
Your trip to Paris.
my trip to Paris. Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't as important as my trip to Norway, where I had a cold.
So if you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. I'll just quickly fill you in because you never know, because people do turn up at
Any time. Yeah.
throughout. You tend to
They
think...
see Paris and think, oh yeah, I'll click on
Yeah,
that.
I know. You tend to think when you do a podcast, it's really weird because you tend to think that you have only the same people going through with you every single week and only
Yeah.
those people. You don't imagine that new people join, and if they do join, when do they join? So anyway,
Yeah.
we are Liz and Brian, husband and wife, and we live in New Zealand, and we have decided to rent our house for a year and take a trip with our two kids at the moment. I don't know if they're going to stay with us. They're adults, they're young adults, 20 and 23, or nearly 21 and 24 actually, in soon.
Yep.
And we're having a year of self-discovery, self-connection, healing.
Yes. Yeah. With business mixed in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We work online. We've got a couple of businesses that we run online, and one of those is supporting people who move to New Zealand. We've got an online community that obviously can go wherever we go in the world, which is fantastic and fabulous.
Yeah, and Liz is a travel writer. She
Yep.
likes to say that she's not, but she is.
Yep. And so we had a bit of a rough year last year, a rough 18 months, and lost a couple of members of our family, my mum and my dad, and it made us realise how precious family and life is. And so we basically stuffed it all on our mortgage and
Yes.
took off around the world.
And off we go. Off we jolly well go.
Yeah, and we spent the first month apart. Brian went to Norway, so if you didn't listen to last week's podcast, we talk all about how your road trip was
Yes, am I cold?
in Norway. And in case you missed it, Brian had a cold. He did say it on the podcast 5
Yeah.
times, but just in case you did miss it. And he went over there with our son and his brother.
Yes, brother lives in Florida. Get back and listen to it. It was a good podcast, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week we're talking about my month away. I went to Paris with our daughter Tessa, and we just lived in Paris for a month. It was a combined thing because Tess, our daughter, she came to New Zealand when she was 5. She's always lived in New Zealand all her life, 15 years, and last year she decided that she wanted to go and live in Paris. Well, she
Yes.
wanted to go and live in Europe, and then she whittled it down to Paris. So when we said we were going to go on this world trip, she said, why don't we start off in Paris? Because that's where I'm going to go and live. And we could see it together. So we kind of went over there with the assumption that we were going to be looking
For somewhere for her to get a job
just
and
to
live.
see what it would be
Yeah.
like to live in Paris.
So let's just wind back a bit now then, because I'm going to ask you about the trip, because you're just telling me the whole story. So I'm supposed to be like kind of interviewing you on this one.
Oh, right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but
So there
maybe
go.
we should just say
Go
before
on.
or do you want to say about the footage that if you're watching this video, if you're listening to this, we are going to be showing footage?
Yes, so if you can hop over to YouTube, you'll see the video. If you want to see the footage, what we class as B-roll these days, because it is a video podcast. Like I say, we're sitting on the rooftop in Athens, a place called Kalithia, which is about 20 minutes from Piraeus by car, because we're going tomorrow morning. We're actually getting on the ferry and going out to Paros, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, we want to put some B-roll of Paris, and Liz has done some video diaries from Paris, which we'll put on the end.
at the end of this
It all works
podcast.
out for audio because we're going to be talking why the footage is playing, so it doesn't really matter. If you don't want to go and see it, you don't have to. If you're driving, don't go to YouTube, all right?
No,
Just keep driving.
Yeah, so, all right then, go on then.
Yeah,
I'm
so...
a bit nervous about this.
Yeah, well, that brings me into the first question of... we haven't been apart for a long, long time. I was meeting my brother, going to Norway with Sonny. I'd planned the trip, quite confident and everything, but how did you feel at the airport? To take a swig of that ouzo,
I'll
Liz.
just take a swig of ouzo and tell you.
Yeah.
How did I feel at the airport about
Yes.
leaving you? I was really, really nervous. We talked about this beforehand because I was really nervous about leaving you.
Yeah.
Because you are my rock, and certainly over the last 18 months I have come to like massively depend on you, and I don't think I knew that until I didn't have you, like, you know, and it was like, shit, I'm gonna have to do everything on my own. And I don't mean that to sound like I'm incapable, because I know that I'm very capable. It was more the fear of having to step off the ledge and not have anyone, you know,
No safety blanket.
like a safety net. And not only that, you're travelling with your child. I mean, I know she's 20, but you know, if you've got kids, they never look after you. Well, not until you get to about 85, I suppose. But you're the one that's looking after them, like, you know. And so it was a double whammy. Not only did I knew that I didn't have you, I also knew that I had to step up and for Tessa, you know. So I was really nervous about leaving you at London.
So when you say step up, because you're her mum, so you're always going to be a mum to her, you know, because kids these days, when they're around their mum, they're different than what they are when they're around friends, because they look after their friends and they organise this, they do this, and they organise their life just fine, don't they? So why did you feel like you had to step up?
Well, because when you're a couple, when you're married, you know, like me and you, if we're going somewhere, we will always discuss it together. Like, you know, what do you think we should go there? I don't know. Well, you have a look and I'll have a look, and we'll see where to go, and you have that equal thing. But I don't know. It just felt like maybe I didn't have to step up, and probably if she heard me say that, she'd be like, "Why would you think you had to step up?" But in my mind, I told myself, you're going to have to be strong. And also, I'm not going to lie, I knew that I had to be mentally strong, like, you know, because,
So when we said goodbye, which was kind of hard because we were trying to swap microphones and do things, and you were taking iPads from me and this, that and the other because you needed it for what you were doing. So how did the trip from Heathrow Airport to Charing Cross to Paris go?
That went fantastic, because I did what every good traveller should do, and like what you always probably do, but I never do because I don't have to, because you've done it. I sat down for about 2 hours beforehand in New Zealand, and I planned every step of the way. I knew what tube to take, I knew where our hotel was, I knew how long it would take us to get from our hotel to Charing Cross. I knew what what side of the train to sit on the Eurostar. I knew where to get off in Gare du Nord. I knew that I could take it. So it was like, up until getting to the Airbnb, I was fine.
Yes.
I was absolutely fine. In fact, I looked so confident, I don't think she could believe it. I was like, yep, I know where we're going, follow me.
And that's the Liz I know.
Pardon?
That's the Liz I know.
Yeah, I know.
Because you were the traveller way before me, weren't you?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And whereabouts in Paris did you stay?
We stayed in a place called Pateau. We thought it was pronounced Patou, and we keep saying Patou. So if I say Patou, that's why, because
It's more like Bordeaux, isn't it?
But it's pronounced Pateau, and it's like, it's a suburb outside. Well, I don't want to say it's outside Paris, but it is. It's the last metro station is called La Défense, and then from La Défense you can take a train to Pateau, and that's about a 5-minute train ride. It was a fantastic location. Do you remember I told you that we'd booked this gorgeous Airbnb?
Yeah, I remember, because the thing that stuck out was the lamppost outside the window, wasn't it?
As soon as I walked in, it was like, oh, this is just gorgeous. It was absolutely fantastic. I hope you can hear us all right, because we're on the rooftop in Athens, and there's so much noise. There's traffic zooming.
I'll try and get my best AI noise filter out.
No,
Voice
so we were
isolation.
staying in an absolutely gorgeous location. And unlike you, who was unpacking every night and packing up again every night, it was the bliss part of it was being able to unpack our case and knowing we were there for a month, you know. So
talking about that, because my Norway trip was so structured, because again I'd spent weeks almost planning it, like, you know, because there's times when you couldn't do it, so it spread over about 3 weeks of planning, about 50 plus hours. So I knew exactly every day what I was going to be doing. On the off days, they were rest days because we'd been traveling so much. What was it like to now be somewhere for the next month and not have anything planned whatsoever?
it was actually bliss.
Right.
It was actually bliss because it also gave me that freedom to be able to just do whatever I wanted. Like, you know, say like, oh, I'm going to write for a couple of hours today. And I don't do well. You know, I don't do well with structure. Like, we're going to be here at 2:00 and we're going to be, and we're not like that. We never travel like that. We don't travel like that. And I don't like traveling like that. Yeah. I like knowing, you know, where I'm going to be eating, or should we eat there tonight? I like knowing that, but I just like doing whatever I fancy as the day takes me. I think the tricky part was, the biggest tricky part, and this is supposed to be a really like positive podcast about me and Tess in Paris, but it was a completely different experience to yours, because as I told you this morning when we were having coffee, I had a lot of time and you know, just a lot of time to think and reflect, which is what I was supposed to be doing. That was the whole idea of this trip, was to just appreciate what you've got, you know, reflect on what you've got and not be so busy all the bloody time, busy, like, what am I doing now? So that part was bliss. It was great to have that space. It was quite daunting, you know, but yeah, it was good.
So going back to that reflection, just tell me why you think, or why you were so busy before, and what did you want to reflect on? Yeah, but it's important, I think.
Well, I was so busy before, and I don't want this to turn into like a big emotional thing, but I was so busy before because I was trying to keep myself busy. Yes. You know? To just move forward with life. And I think, you know, when you lose someone so important in your life, you don't really know how to be without that person there every day. Yeah. And so it's easier just to keep really busy. And I don't mean that to say, like, you know, I'm not going to think about it, but to me, looking back now, I was just like, if I'm really busy and focus on this, like, you know, my mastermind or making money or planning another book or whatever, then I don't really have to sit with my thoughts. And that's what I'm saying. When I got to Paris, I didn't have you, I didn't have Sunny, I didn't have the house, I didn't have anything else. I had lots of time, you know, a daughter who loves to spend time on her own, just sitting reading in a room or whatever. So I just had time to just reflect. And actually it doesn't look it now because I'm sitting here crying, but actually it was really positive to be able to go, okay, you know, what is it? Like, what is still hurting inside? Yeah. You know, and it's just, I think it's just, again, I talk about this on a video, like I did a couple of video diaries, so I don't want to repeat myself, but it wasn't all like me just sitting there crying and thinking, reflect. I don't want you to think it was like that, because it wasn't. But looking back now, it was a fantastic opportunity to be able to do that. Yeah. And maybe that's why I was scared to leave you, because when I'm with you, as with anyone, when they're with other people, they are aware that they can't just keep like crying
like I've just done now, like I'm fine now, but you go through like a big wave, it washes over you. And so I don't know what I'm talking about now. I've lost my train of thoughts.
No, it's quite clear, because it looks to me that you needed to have this space away from me and the situation of in your house in New Zealand, everything like that, almost exactly to the year a year to the date that your mum passed away and her wake, because your mum didn't have a funeral, she just wanted a wake, didn't she? Like, you know, and so that's the first huge stepping stone, and it was without me. So to see you go away and actually be brave enough to go away is a huge thing. It was for me to actually see you walk away at Heathrow, and you didn't see me, but I walked to the escalator where you were looking to which one to go down to, which thing, and I just looked at you for 2 or 3 minutes, and I just thought, there you go, she's all right. Before, and everyone, David and Sonny were waiting for me. What are you doing? I said, I'm just waiting, because I didn't want to see you break down, and you didn't. You were just confident. You picked your phone out, and you weren't. That was just Liz. There she is. You know, and that's that inner self, that inner strength, and you can see that, like, you know, and off you went. And so I'm happy now. Yep, I'm going. But I wanted to talk about that just for the fact that I think you needed to let people know about that, because that was one of the main reasons, or one of the, not the main reasons, but one of the big hurdles about leaving and going.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Going to Paris or going on this trip?
Just going on this trip, and because that was the first thing, the hurdle that you were going to hit.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the fact that you were away on your own with your daughter, because it's a dream to do something like that.
I know.
But when you're alone you know.
And again, I'm really, really, really lucky that I've got the daughter. We've got the daughter that we've got, because she's very, very compassionate. She's very in tune with anything to do with mental health. I mean, I think they are nowadays, aren't they? Like, you know, when we were that age, and if your mum had started breaking down crying, you probably would have thought, oh God, what's wrong with her? But she's very patient when it comes to that. She's not patient when I can't make a decision. I can tell you about that later. But yeah, she was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, again, you have that thing of, I think we've talked about this on another podcast to do with New Zealand.
Yeah.
You don't want to come over as being ungrateful.
Yeah.
And you don't want to come over as being like, hang on a minute, you're in Paris and all you were doing was crying. But actually, I spent 50% of my time reflecting and having breakdowns when I was on my own, you know? And that wasn't to say I wasn't coping. It was just because I was alone with my emotions, with no other distractions. Like you say, you weren't there. I didn't have to worry about you getting worried, and it was freeing. It was really freeing. It was uncomfortable, but it was freeing. And yeah.
So when you say it was freeing, what did you discover that made it freeing?
Oh, Bri, it was just freeing to be able to express your emotions on your own. Just to sit there and have a bloody good cry without someone thinking, shit, do you need antidepressants? Are you all right?
Need to see a doctor.
Yeah, you need to see someone. You need to see a therapist. It's just like, no, I don't. I just miss my mum, and I'm going to have a really big cry because I've just taken a photo. I'm in Paris and I've got no one to send it to. You know, the only person I want to send this to is my mum, and she's not here, so I'm going to cry. Yeah. And it was like, you could, because you are on your own and you feel safe enough to do that. And looking, you know, like I say, I'm so proud of myself that I am aware of this. Yeah. I'm aware. And that's why when people say to me, you know, I'll often get comments about, wow, you really wear your heart on your sleeve. Or, you know, like you'll go on a podcast and talk and get upset.
Like we are now.
Yeah, like we are now. But I'm aware that it's very healthy to do that. Yeah. It's not a bad thing to show your emotions. It's a very healthy thing, because it's when, that's what I was worried about. Like the last few months, I've been really busy but cleaning and podcast. And it's just like, hang on a minute, something's not quite right. I don't feel quite right. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's just like, it's like washing a shirt and not washing all the bubbles away. Like, you know, rinsing it, and there's still bubbles. Yeah. And you need, no, this is another rinse. This isn't ready yet. It needs another rinse. And that's what it feels like when you're you know, when you're grieving someone, anyone
Yeah.
who's grieved will know that. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I
It
I
doesn't
don't
get
know if
easier.
that
It
makes
changes.
sense.
That's the only thing, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And it's still the persistence of that is still there.
But Paris, in like, I don't like to say, I don't want this to all be
No,
about
but I just
my,
want one more thing before we move on to Paris, because we will talk about Paris in this, because we are talking about Paris. But I just think it's important to people listening. You read a couple of books while you were away, and how did those books affect you? Because it seemed to me like they helped you an awful lot.
Yeah, they did. And that's another thing about being in Paris was, or I suppose being anywhere, but Paris just happens to be a beautiful, beautiful city, is you get to discover what you like.
Yeah.
You get to discover in a month, like you said to me this morning, oh my God, you've only been gone a month and now you're saying you don't want to drink coffee in the morning anymore. When you're on your own, you get to discover what you like.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you
not-
don't have to ask anyone else, and you don't have to please anyone else, and you don't have to have a coffee because they're having a coffee and they'll feel bad if you don't have a coffee with them. You just do what you want.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to doing that. I don't do that. I just like to go, you know, like we just do what makes each other happy. And I think sometimes you can get stuck. So what I did was I went to a bookshop, this fantastic bookshop in the middle of Paris, and I spent, even that was like the biggest gift ever. I spent like 3 hours in this bookshop,
Yeah.
looking around all these books, being really picky which ones I was going to buy. And at the moment, I'm reading by this fantastic author called Brianna Wiest. It was a guy in my mastermind group, that's Richard, who recommended this author to me, and I went and bought both of her books. One is called The Pivot Year, which you know when you read something and you think, I wish I'd written this. I wish I had written this. It's just so good. And it's like a 365 reflections throughout the year
Right.
about how to get to know I don't know. No, that sounds a bit pretentious. Get to know yourself. It doesn't mean that. It's just 365 short essays about life
Yeah.
and feelings and emotions and thoughts, and then the other book is called The Mountain. You Are the Mountain, or The Mountain Is You, and that's all about, again, you know, getting to know yourself, the reason you do things, self-sabotage, the reason you are the way you are, and all stuff like that. And I started reading it, I was like, oh, I don't really like this, because I don't think I self-sabotage, you know, this isn't for me, this book isn't for me, but I stuck with it and I read it, and the piece of gold that I got at the end of that book, did I tell you about that? About where it said,
You might have done.
when you're grieving, it was so, because basically I got to Paris and I wrote a couple of newsletters, these emails that I write to my front row newsletter people. And like I say, I was spending a lot of time thinking, and I thought, oh my God, I've gone backwards. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep crying? I even said to Tess, I'm really sorry that I keep crying. She's like, no, you don't have to apologise. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me, Tess. I said, I just feel like someone's just like wound the clock back 10 months
Yeah.
and I'm back where I started. I was doing really well and now I've just regressed. Anyway, I hadn't, because I haven't.
No.
But like I just explained earlier, that's what was going on there. But at the end of that book, what she says is healing and change is healing is a very slow process. Grieving is a very slow process. You can't rush it.
No.
And you think you're not getting along and, you know, doing okay, but little bits every day that you're doing and you're getting through, and they add up. And she said, when you go and change your environment so drastically, what happens is you automatically revert back. Maybe it's a panic state, I can't remember.
Almost to where you left off.
Where you left off.
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, I thought, hang on a minute, here I am. Like you say, it's the year to the day that my mum died.
Yeah.
I've got all those memories going on. I haven't got you. I'm not in New Zealand. I haven't got Sunny. I haven't got the house. I'm in Paris. I don't know where I am. I'm with my daughter, who I'm trying to stay really strong for and look cool and be nice and stop frigging crying all the time, you know. And it was like, it really hit a chord. So Yeah.
So, well, that's great. It's not just great, but I wanted you to just mention that, because I think that listening to, and I'd seen what you put on our community, some of the one-line things, nuggets of information and stuff, and that hit a lot of people in our community and stuff. So it's great when you get inspiration and you straight away you want to share it with someone.
Yeah.
You know, that's lovely.
Do you know what this is, Bri? It's a very, very lucky, privileged experience to be, or opportunity, not experience, an opportunity to be able to peel back the layers of yourself and go, who are you? What do you want?
Yeah.
What can you offer? Who are you? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to give to the world?
Yeah.
And like I said to you this morning, when I do this, when I write or speak about feelings and emotions, and whether it be happy, making people laugh, telling stories, or being really honest about what it feels like to go through grief, it makes me so fucking happy.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Not in a, oh, look at me, everyone, look what I'm doing. It just makes me feel like I've given like the biggest gift I can to the world, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to you this morning. It's, you have to do more of that, but you have to be brave enough to do more of that. And that's what, this is a whole different thing. I know this isn't a Paris podcast, but
yes,
that
it is,
what
because you were in
Paris
Paris when you found it.
That is what Paris, and I'm hoping the rest of this trip.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Paris. It can be anywhere that's removed from where you were before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the importance of moving to a different place, getting rid of certain triggers so the other triggers can come back out, and you're in a strong enough place a year on, hopefully, to deal with it as well.
Do you know what the great thing about travelling is as well, Bri? Is like we said this morning. So basically, we went for a coffee this morning, me and you, didn't we?
Yeah,
and
we
were
did.
talking.
We had about an hour and a half coffee.
Yeah,
didn't we?
the first
Which
time.
again, we're in Athens. You don't get a chance to do that at home because, like, right, let's go and get some work done.
And we just said, what do we do all day?
Yeah.
Why are we so bloody
Get
busy
yourself and stressed.
and
To
stressed?
a point where
What
you
the
think,
hell
what's
are we
going
doing?
on? Yeah.
Because we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, all right. One of the two.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not right.
Yeah.
Because this is what I said to you. All we need to do is all we need to do.
Yeah.
We don't need the other added crap that we're putting into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just making ourselves busy, or I was making myself busy for the sake of being busy. When do we ever?
Do you know what? You were being productive, but you can have too much productivity that it just becomes where you can't do all these things at once, and then you never get the one thing finished, do you? Because you've got so many things open. None of it gets finished, but you've started everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what you get busy in. You're actually doing stuff, but you don't see it to the end because now you've got too much on your plate. You know?
And I think, and I know we laugh and joke about, I'm not going to sweep the leaves off the deck, because why? That's just going to take me an hour. And again, I know this is a different conversation, but what I'm saying, I'm using that as an example, but just stuff that doesn't really need doing, Liz, you're doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't really need to go into your post from 2022 and change all the links, because you don't really need to do that, Liz, do you? But guess what? I'm going to do it anyway. And by God, I'm going to tell everyone that I have done it, because look at me, I'm so busy and I've done this. Yeah. And it's like, that's the thing. That's when I was in Paris, I realized I could write a post for my community. We could make a podcast. We could answer comments and emails. We could connect. That's if you do that really, really well, if you put all your energy into doing 3 things really, really well, then the rest of the time you can be like a normal person who has a normal life that comes home at 5 o'clock and watches the telly or reads a book.
Yeah, but what we
instead of working till 9 o'clock at night, having dinner, going to bed and getting up and doing the whole thing again. Yeah,
and the treadmill again. And I think what I got from you today was, and what you found was the amount of work that you did and we both do, we could condense into 2 or 3 days a week.
Yes.
Which would leave you time to write. And that's what I think is one of the big bugbears at the moment, is that all what we were doing before, that's why we had to unplug ourselves from that not family, but that house, work, home type work-life balance, because it was overly done by work and not balance of just being normal. To get yourself out of that, literally unplug yourself from it, like unplug yourself from the matrix. That's what it felt like, didn't it? And start again, and it was like that reset that we've had for 4 weeks has been great. That we've realized, look what we've just done for a month, and has it affected what we're doing? I know we did a lot of stuff in the background, but here we are in Athens on a beautiful evening, just having a chat.
Yeah.
And it's hard to understand unless you do it, isn't it?
I compare it to social media. So when my mum died, in fact, I think it was before then, I decided I wasn't going to go on social media. I hate social media anyway, and I don't often use the word hate, but I can't stand social media.
No. I know you can say YouTube's social media, but it's not
I was
quite
going
the
to say
same,
about
is it?
YouTube. YouTube is different.
It's not your family,
YouTube,
is it?
Yeah, but YouTube isn't social media.
Yeah.
YouTube is... It's a space to create. In my eyes, it's a space to go
Content
somewhere,
creation,
to be entertained, to create, or to learn something, learn how to fix a car.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what YouTube is for.
Yeah.
And we are very, very lucky that we've found people on YouTube.
Well, we've only got 350 videos, so it's not been lucky, has it?
No, but what I mean
is,
it's I never ever class YouTube as a social media platform, but I was so scared to give up social media. I've been doing it for 7 years. Facebook, Instagram, well, both of those, that's all I did really. And when Mum died, I stopped it. And I was so scared that it was going to make our business plummet.
Yeah.
I just thought, people are going to go on Instagram, they're going to see that we're not posting, they're going to think we're not real, they won't come into our membership, they won't, sponsors won't want to work with us, partners won't want to work with. It hasn't affected a thing being on social media. And I look now, I watch Sonny and Tess, and they're posting pictures and they're answering, and I just think it makes me feel exhausted looking at it.
It is.
And I know it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It is a personal thing. And I'm not saying everyone who goes on social media is bad. I don't mean that. I just mean for me personally, it drained my energy, and I'm using it as a comparison to the way we were living life before we left.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want people to think, we're not down the bloody pit shoveling coal 10 hours
We're very
a day.
mindful people. We actually know what it is that's affecting us. We're quite aware of it. But I think it's the drive in the right direction that you lack when you've gone through what you've gone through, because you do make yourself busy and might not be in the right way or the right direction. And we've done some amazing things in the last year. We've been to Thailand, we've been to Canada, we've now here. But this is all about diversion tactics to get us away from the grind, the hamster wheel type thing.
Yeah,
isn't
not
it?
even the grind. It's not a grind. It doesn't feel like a grind. Our life has never felt like a grind.
I suppose, but you know what I'm trying to say.
It feels busy for why is it busy?
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we stand on our deck.
Yeah.
And again, please, I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here some privilege. I probably sound like we probably sound like some privileged
We're just talking about it.
Yeah, but I
We've
understand.
worked hard, Liz, in our life.
I know, but I understand that there are people who would give their bloody right arm to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you've got to talk about it. And unfortunately, if it sounds like that, then that's the way it is. But there are times when we've stood on our deck on a Sunday and said, why does it feel so different on a Sunday? Why have we got a different mindset on a Sunday? Why are we willing to get in the car and go for a drive and walk to the lake on a Sunday?
Yeah.
But on a Wednesday, we won't even go for a coffee at lunch together because we haven't got time.
Mm-hmm.
We're so busy. We haven't got time to do that. There's so much to do. And it's that's what I'm talking about. It's that it is just
as with the majority of people, when you've got you're working for 40, 50 hours a week or whatever it is, you've got to be to work. And that's it, isn't it? And that's what we say, but we still get our day in. But sometimes you don't need to do that stuff. You can do it tomorrow, or you could have done it yesterday, but you didn't. I don't know.
Or you don't have to do it at all.
Yes, you don't have to do
Because
it at all.
actually, does it really
Sometimes,
matter if you do that? No,
yeah.
it doesn't.
Do you expend the extra 5 hours editing something? That makes no difference
I know.
whatsoever on YouTube.
Sometimes, Bri, I will get a flipping thumbnail and I will spend 3 hours
you will.
on a
Yep.
thumbnail.
Yep.
And I'm like, Liz, that's just 3 hours of your life. You've
Yeah.
just...
And then you don't use it at the end.
I know.
And it's just like, I'll just go back to the original.
But
that
at
I did.
least I can say I was busy.
Yeah,
like, like
exactly.
I was busy
Yeah.
doing that thumbnail and I've just really worked hard on that anyway. But,
Anyway, let's get back round to Paris.
Exactly.
We have only got about 20 minutes and we've got to go. Just for the fact that, again, we've got to go because we said we are going out for dinner tonight to a little fish restaurant near...
In Athens.
Near the
it
Plaka.
looks so nice.
Yes. So, and a Scottish lady said it was good.
I know. Yeah.
We walked past her today.
Yeah, we were just in the
Yeah.
Plaka in Athens, and we went to this. I saw these prawn shells on these plates, and I stood outside the restaurant. I waited for her to come out. She was paying her bill. I said, "Excuse me, was that good?" And she said, "Oh, it was absolutely fantastic." She goes, "You've got to go." And so that's where we're going tonight. Sorry for my Scottish accent.
Yeah, that's all right.
Wasn't bad, was it?
Yeah, what was
actually?
the girl from Brave? Can't remember her name now. Right, so let's get back to Paris. I've got to get you talking about Paris so I can ask you more questions about Paris. And you can't just say what was your
You're doing a
favourite
good job,
thing to
Brian.
do about
You're doing a
Paris.
good
No,
job.
but I want to
You're doing
say
what an interview should do. You're picking up on the
the
things.
biggest thing that you wanted to do in Paris when you got there.
Just cry, really.
Yeah, just have a cry. All right. Next, what's the best thing you did in Paris? So what's the thing that you look forward to the most? Because me would be. Well, I know what it would be because I did it once before when I was there with you, and it was just go to the seediest looking tabac, get a coffee, a noisette, which is just a double espresso with a little bit of creamy milk on the top, and get a French croissant. So what was yours when you get to Paris? What did you really want to do?
Probably similar. I wanted to people watch. I
Yep.
just wanted to step back and watch other people. I wanted to do that. People absolutely fascinate me, and I wanted to watch people.
Yeah.
And what better place to watch people than Paris? And so I said to Tess, she said, "Have you got anything you want to do?" I said, "Yeah, I want to go and see." What did I want to? And we never ended up doing it. I wanted to go. Yeah, we never ended up doing it. I wanted to go to some underground tombs. That,
right.
You know,
The crypts.
yeah.
The crypts. Is it crypts? Whatever they're called.
And we
Yes.
didn't end up doing that.
Catacombs.
Yeah,
is the word
that's
I was
it.
looking
We
for.
didn't end up doing it. And she said, "What else do you want to do?" I said, "Tess, all I want to do is drink coffee and wine," but she's not a drinker, so that was a bit hard. But I just want to drink coffee and I want to sit and watch the people.
And then I know Liz from old. You found a place. So where was it?
What the
Where was your go-to place
where was my go-to
to
place?
watch the people?
Well, I loved the station cafe.
Why?
The Café de la Gare, because it was rough as rats. And it was just bliss. But she wouldn't come up with me. She's like, "No, I'm not coming up there. It's just full of dossers." And I was like, "No, it's really good." I just love station cafes.
And what could you get in the station cafe?
I got a coffee and I actually got a croissant.
Did you go there for aperitivos and things?
No, she
Was
wouldn't.
that somewhere
Tess
else?
wouldn't come up.
Oh, right.
She didn't want to come up. So this cafe was right at the top of the hill by the station, and again, self-reflection. I was thinking, what is it with me that I like being around normal people? Just like salt of the earth, struggling people,
Working class people.
working class,
Yeah.
struggling with life people.
Yeah.
I like being around people like that. I love it.
That's the
Absolutely
buzz about
love
it, isn't
Yes,
there? You
it
can see why
just-
they do it. And
It
you
just
like,
feels safe.
yeah,
That's what it
all
is.
on the same boat type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And again, probably because of my upbringing, don't know, but Tess hasn't had that.
No.
So to her, when she's seeing, and it wasn't dodgy, but it was like, there was a couple of like arguments, brawls and, deals and stuff going down. And she's like, I want to go. I don't like it. It's horrible. Why do you want to be here? And I'm like, I don't know. Why do
Why
I?
wouldn't you? This
Order
is-
another Kia.
this is life.
Let's just stay. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love. Those are the best people.
Yeah.
They're the most real, genuine, kind, actually,
people who would give you the shirt off their back.
Yeah.
People like that.
Yeah.
And I like being around them.
Give you a cigarette if you haven't got
one. They would, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's the thing. And I'd forgotten about that in France. They don't do that in New Zealand. Well, I've never seen it anyway.
Not in Willow.
People just come up and say, "Can I bum a cigarette off you?"
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't
Great,
go,
isn't it? I love that side of it. Yeah.
And they don't go like, "What are you doing? Get away from
No,
me,
it's
you
just like-
hobo!"
And light it for them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
people give them the whole packet.
Yeah, exactly.
And go,
Yeah.
"Just take it, mate."
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love
That's
it.
the beautiful thing of smoking, which, apart from the horrendous bad things it does for you, it's such a sociable thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of lost nowadays, isn't it? That connection with people, because you've got the common ground with me because you smoke.
Yeah.
So you feel you can go and talk to them.
But imagine going up to someone at a table if they had a couple of glasses of wine and going, "Can I have a swig?"
I know. It would never happen, would it?
No, it
It's like,
wouldn't. I don't know what it is about
Hello?
smoking, but
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is about station cafes, but I love
Yeah.
them. I absolutely love them. So yeah, that's
because
where
that's what we grew up
I
with, was
liked.
people being sociable with cigarettes, and it's just like
Yeah.
you know, and like you say, someone's rolled their own. Can you roll me one, mate?
Yeah.
That type thing, isn't it? Like, you know, it's just
This
like,
is not
go on.
to promote smoking.
No,
of course.
yeah, but we're not. That's
Because
what
we
I just
don't
said.
smoke,
That the
but-
bad things, but it's the sociable side of things, and you can so see why people do it.
Yeah.
You know. So we've gone from you go to place which was there. What? And I know, hopefully, I know what you're going to say with this one. But what was your favourite place to visit?
I don't want to cry telling you this, but we went all over Paris. We hired bikes. We got a month's metro person who lives in Paris pass.
Yeah.
We went all over. So we didn't just stay in one place. And one day I wanted to go to, I think it was a church that I wanted to go to. And we were trying to head there, but we couldn't find it. And I said to Tessa, "What's this place?" And she said, "Oh, this is a famous library." She knows because she goes on TikTok. And like, yeah, but on TikTok, they tell you everything.
Right.
Like, if you want to know anything about anywhere, just go on TikTok.
Right.
Like, I'd say to Tess, "Oh, where do you think we could get a cheese, a croque monsieur?" "Oh, I'll look on TikTok." And it's just millions of people telling you where to go in Paris.
Right.
Anyway, so she looked at this building on TikTok and she said, "Oh, this is a library." And I said, "All right." And she goes, "Do you want to go in?" And she goes, "Oh, it's famous actually." She said, "Oh, it's got a big glass dome roof." And I said, "Well, let's go in." And she said, "Oh, I thought we were going to..." No, let's just go in. It's free admission. Well, that was always tempt her.
Let's get there.
Yeah, so we walked in, and it is the only place in 53 years of my life and all the time that I have been travelling.
Sanctuary.
I just walked in and I just started crying,
Did
which wasn't good.
What's wrong with you?
For Christ's sake.
You're crying for it
It's been
again.
a year, move on.
Yeah. What was yesterday?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I walked in and it was like something off a Harry Potter film set. It was this huge dome of a room, and I'm really sorry that I don't know the name of the library. I don't know anything about the history of
Is it not the National Library
I
or
have
something
no
like
idea.
that? Right.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
Just Google it. Just Google
Dome
library in
library in
Paris
Paris.
with dome. Library in Paris where woman cries.
Yeah.
And it's just lined, obviously, with books. And it's got those ladders that go right to the top of the
Are
ceiling
you
where
allowed to
you
go
can...
up then?
I don't know.
Or is it got to be the librarian that goes
I
and
don't
gets it for
know.
you?
But it's all in a circle. And when you walk in, you step down 2 steps. And it's like a huge circle filled with people writing and reading with those little green table lamps. You know those
Yeah,
low down
yeah.
study lamps that you see in
the
films?
green ones, the glass
they're
ones.
always green, aren't
Yeah.
they? And
2 bits of brass coming
it
up either
was
side.
that you could hear a pin drop
Really?
in that room. There must have been about, I did do a video, so I will put some up. There must have been about, I don't know, 1,000 people in there maybe not that many, I don't know, it seemed like 1,000.
Even if 200-300 people, it's a lot, isn't it? But
Yeah,
however
maybe
many
not
it was.
1,000 then.
Yeah, you just don't know.
But it was just, oh my God, it would just felt like I'm here. I've come to the place of my dreams.
Yeah, I can write here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, and I started crying and like Tessa, "What's the matter?" And I just said, "It's just so gorgeous."
Yeah.
And it was just so peaceful, Bri. But all those people
and not a sound.
Yeah,
all
or
doing
creating
the same
or doing whatever
thing.
it
Yes.
is they're doing. Yeah,
And I think that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
that energy of creation and study and quiet and mind, and it just felt like heaven to me.
no,
It felt like heaven. It just felt like I could have stayed in there and never ever come out.
no.
It was really nice.
Now, would you go back there?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I lived in Paris, I would be there at 7 o'clock in the morning and I wouldn't come out till 7
Yeah,
o'clock
get
at
your
night.
chair.
I'd be very busy in there.
Yeah. Anyone have a computer?
Do you know what? They probably did, but I don't know. I wasn't really looking at what people were doing. I was just feeling the feelings.
Right.
I was just more taking in the space
Yeah.
and looking around. You know, when you're looking around and you can't remember what you saw, all I remember seeing was lots of people with their head down, these little lights, and all I remember is these beautiful books and quiet. Just lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And you talked about, and I know this is a big part of your trip, the e-bikes that you could hire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying to you last week when you were talking about your Norway trip.
Yeah.
And you were saying about Norway felt very controlled and very safe. Paris just feels like bloody well do what you want.
Really?
Just do what you want.
Yeah.
It feels so free and so fantastic. And we hired these bikes, they're called Lime bikes, and they're like these Uber bikes, you know, that they're parked up all over the city.
Yeah.
And we paid €80 for a million hours. It was just, we could go on, we left the city with 2 hours that you
Right.
could donate to other people. And you just cycle round, and all over the city, like within the inner city, within the inner circle
Inside
of
the
Paris.
Parafique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are bike lanes all over and bike traffic lights.
Oh, really?
Yes. Their own bike lane with traffic lights and proper things to go over the pedestrian crossing.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And everyone cycles everywhere.
Because it's so flat, Paris, isn't it?
It
As
was
such.
just gorgeous, Bri. And no
Yeah.
one was like, because Tess said, "Oh, you're not allowed to. What are you doing? Like you're going the wrong way." And I said, "So? No one's going to say anything," and they didn't.
Yeah.
You know, one time I went up a one-way street, and a car was coming towards me, and he sort of looked at me as if like you're in the, you're
really?
going down the wrong street.
Yeah.
But no
British.
one was like, "Beep, get out of
Yeah.
the way." You know, what are you doing?
Sacre bleu.
No, they
Yeah.
weren't like that.
Well, that's good.
It's changed a lot, Paris.
It sounds like France, or that part of France has changed.
Paris, from when we went there, like 20 years ago, has changed so much.
Yeah. Has it become more international, or?
It has become more friendly.
Right.
It's just become more accepting and friendly, and more people speak English. And I don't mean to say, because I know it's France.
Yeah, but that's the only way the Europeans communicate, really, is.
Yeah, but it used to be. If you went into a Parisian
Yeah.
cafe and said,
You're lucky you've got the waiter that had
"Could
maybe
I
delivered the
please
travelling.
they'd be like, "Quoi?"
Yeah.
Like, "Comment?"
Yeah.
Like, "What?"
Un croissant, s'il vous
Yeah.
plaît. Huh? Une croissant? Oh,
I
piss
did
off.
have a
You
bit of
wouldn't
an, I
do.
did have a bit of an embarrassing moment because I was trying to show off in front of Tess.
Yeah.
And be like, "Oh yeah, I can speak French because I worked there like 10 million years ago." And I went into this bakery and I said, "Un pain au chocolat, s'il vous plaît?" And she said, "Comment?"
Quoi?
Yeah, and I went, "Un pain au chocolat?" And she went, "Je ne comprends pas."
Oh, she didn't,
yes.
did she? Oh, I would have
And
gone,
I
oh,
was
shut
just- I
up,
could
you
f-
frog.
I go, "Brian!" Bloody hell. Luckily,
Yeah,
you're...
but that's what makes
your
you feel like, because
generation
you
are moving
tried, like, so
I know,
come on,
but-
try back.
Yeah, but... No, Brian. Really?
I'm just joking, you know I am.
The colours just started draining out of my face, and then I just wanted to like crawl up and die, and just walk out there. And I had to keep repeating, "A croissant avec chocolat."
probably just
And then
thinking-
she goes like this, Brian. "Ah, un pain au chocolat."
Yeah, so,
And
hello?
I'm like,
You should have gone, quoi?
yes.
Je ne comprends pas.
So
Je
that was
m'appelle
funny.
Maureen.
Yeah, but all the rest was just, it just felt free.
No,
I just
that's
felt,
great.
I felt 40 years younger when I was there.
Oh,
I
brilliant.
really did.
Yeah. But you can see it in your eyes that you've had a time that, it's just, did it? And, like you were saying this morning, I know we laughed about it, but it's like, I don't drink coffee in the morning. It's like, oh, you've only gone 4 weeks, but you can just see it. Actually, that's what I want to do.
Because do we ever, as a married couple, I mean, we're not like super liberal, let's bloody, actually, that's wrong. We when I say we're not liberal, we talk a lot, me and you.
Yeah.
But we're not one of these couples that have, you know, like these couples that have date nights where they discuss, like, you know, what position they want to do and what turns them on and all the rest of it.
We just see how it goes.
We just make it, well, whatever you think. I don't mind. I'll just do what you want.
Yeah.
That's
Back's a bit sore this side, so whatever, eh? Let's go for it.
So
no, it's true.
I think to be able to just have some time on your own and think, do you know what? Actually, I'm not a coffee person.
No, but you used to be. But
no, see, look, you're trying to make me like you now.
No, listen, I'm not, because you used to be. But most of our life, we have drunk tea in the morning. It's only me in the last 3 years that I drink bulletproof coffee for the benefits of the bulletproof coffee. Not because I like coffee. I actually prefer tea in the morning. I honestly do. But I like the benefit of the bulletproof coffee with the MCT oil and whatever else you have in it.
But I don't.
No,
I hate it.
You don't like it, but
it makes me sick.
Even the month before we came away, no, you didn't.
I do.
I used to say to you, "What do you want this morning?" And you'd go, "I'll just have tea." And
I know,
right.
but I feel bad saying that because I want to keep you happy, and I want to be like, "Oh, look at us having a coffee together."
Yeah.
Because we're husband and wife. But really, what I want is a hot water with loads of lemon in it.
Yeah,
because I love how that makes me feel.
And you know. I don't particularly like to eat breakfast anymore. I used to be a very big breakfast person, but you've just gone back with Tess because she found it better for her to eat.
It was Bliss being with Tess.
Yeah, her little food that she has in the morning.
Because Tess is really, really into health and woman's feelings and hormones and fitness. Yeah, and she said to me, because I was having like problems, like not diarrhea. I don't want to go into too much details, but I was having problems, and I was like. Oh my God, you know, what's wrong with me? Like, I went to the doctor and I was like, oh, like, look, you know, this isn't right. Again, don't want to go into too much detail, but Tess said to me, she's like, you do realise that women should never drink coffee. I don't know if this is true or not. They shouldn't drink coffee on an empty stomach. I don't want to get into it here, by the way.
No, you don't need to. No.
So she said to me...
This is what she's found out.
She said to me, she said, if I was you, she said, if you are going to drink coffee, you should have some food with it. Yep. Try that and see if it works. So I did, and it worked. And then I thought, and she said, do you like coffee? And I said, yeah, I do. I like drinking coffee. She said, but you tend to drink it at 11 o'clock. And I said, yeah, I don't like it in the morning. She said, so why do you drink it then?
Yeah, exactly.
She said, why don't you just drink what you want?
Coffee can stress some people.
I think it
can honestly stress them.
Yeah.
You know, their heart rate can go up. You can drink coffee and you can get a glucose spike even though you've not got anything in there. So it's how it affects different people.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway... It was a time, and also I've really, really discovered that I like to sleep on my own.
Yes. Well, we're going to get separate rooms. Actually, our room's big enough to build a wall down the middle and have two little tiny bedrooms.
Did you ever sleep on your own?
I got to sleep on my own. I think I videoed it, didn't I?
Yeah, because you were so excited.
I was so excited. After 20 days, I've got a room of my own with my own toilet.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yes, it was bliss.
So there you go.
We had to go the next day.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
It was only one night. We didn't get the two-nighter there. But again, when we got to England, my brother had booked a 3-bedroom apartment for three men. So again, I had my own bed.
And it's lovely, isn't it?
And yes, it is, because it was only a single bed, but it was bliss. You don't wake up because nothing disturbs you.
And that's what I'm saying. You live your life as a husband and wife.
Yeah.
But you compromise on things that make you happy to make the other person happy.
Yeah.
And I know we both do it.
That's living together with someone. So there's always going to be a bit of this or a bit of that, isn't there? There's just going to be, isn't there? Like, you know. But God, isn't that based on that?
I know.
Someone's
I hope
car
you can hear
has just
us.
turned up. It's even actually setting the alarm off over there. It's just a speaker, unless it's World War III. But there's always a compromise there. But going back to Paris, because we keep skipping away from Paris and going into our life, when it was just purely like mine was just about Norway. And so we should get back to Paris and go, let's tell me the three most memorable things and the 3 worst things that you did.
Oh, Bri, that's boring.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
It is. People don't want to know that.
Yeah, but you've got to get back into it.
Okay, the 3 most memorable... yeah, it is, but honestly...
In Paris, because like Eiffel Tower, did you do it?
Yes, I did, but people don't want to know that. Right. That's boring. It's You want to know why you went to Paris and what happened in Paris.
Right.
Okay, so but I will tell you, my 3 best things were the library,
Yep.
The bookshop, going in the bookshop,
Yes.
and laying in the park. I think one day we went to this park, Jardin Palais, Palais de Jardin, something like that.
Yeah.
And we lay there, and I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I read my book, and I closed my eyes, and I fell asleep. We people watched,
No.
and we went and had an ice cream. And another time, Tess doesn't drink, and I got her drunk on cocktails. I managed to convince her.
Was that the espresso cocktail?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We went for a meal, and that was a gorgeous night because we just laughed. We just had fun, like, you know. And so, yeah. And what was the other question? 3 worst times.
The 3 like weird things that may have happened to you, like you think, oh God,
Yeah,
how did we get us there? Nothing like that. No funny, compromising situations or
Only
anything.
that. No, not really.
No, right.
I think it was just. I made a video diary. Again, we're going to play those at the end. I had a bit of a bit of a, you know, a meltdown one day where I was really, really missing you. I dreamt about my mum. I'd written a newsletter to my front row newsletter people, and I was just feeling really low.
Right.
And I just wanted some space and I just wanted to not be there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just be away and be in a middle of, I wanted to be in that library. I hadn't been there yet, but that's where I wanted to be, thinking about that. And I made a video about that. But yeah, there was no times that I was like, I mean, we had some arguments. No, we had an argument, me and Tess.
Yeah, but you're going to, aren't you, in close quarters?
Because
not like
only
the boys
one.
in Norway.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked you about
That's
it.
the thing, isn't it?
But the thing that drove Tess mad about me, and I can understand why, is the indecisiveness, the not being able to make a decision. But again, that comes down. That's why I said to her, Tess, it's not that I can't make a decision. I just want to do what you want to do.
I want to know what you want to do.
And she's like, yeah, but you say what to do. And I said, okay. And I did.
It's understandable, yeah. But
one day I went to the cemetery. Oh, that was it. I went to the cemetery.
Right.
On the day of my mum's year anniversary that she passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was the year of the wake.
Yeah.
I took Tess to the oldest cemetery in Paris.
Right.
And we went all the way across town, and we got off the train, and it was a surprise. I wouldn't tell her where we were going. She's like, tell me where we're going. Tell me where we're going.
What is this? I'm 20 years old, and I don't want to see dead people. I know I see them, but I don't want to see them.
So that was awkward, because it was like, oh my God, look at all these graves. And she's like, how long are we going to be here?
Guess what, kids?
I know.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, that was a day that was like.
But that's that age difference. That's all that is, isn't it? Or your personal interest, isn't it?
I know. And I was thinking afterwards.
What do you want to do? Are you sure you want me to do what I want to do?
I know, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's why I ask you.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I was thinking afterwards. I was thinking, what would I have done if I was 20 and my mum had taken me to a bloody cemetery and gone,
well, I know,
look at this, 1650 this grave is, look.
I know, but I know you and your mum, because I remember you being 18 years old and being in Greece together, and your mum just gave you a load of books which were all about mass murderers, and I'm like,
yeah, well, she was well into all that.
Earth are you reading all that for?
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean. She was well
so you
into
would have
all
loved that. I'm probably at 20 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, to round up your Paris trip, did you like it? And would you go back?
To Paris?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely, definitely. But more importantly, whether it had been Paris, bloody Timbuktu, London, wherever it was, Paris just happens to be a very, very beautiful city.
Yeah.
I've got a very soft spot in my heart for Paris. I love the French people. I love France. I love Paris. But more importantly, it was fantastic to be able to say that I was there with Tessa.
Yeah.
That I had that opportunity to be with my daughter for a month. You know?
Yeah.
Who gets to do that?
Not many people.
No,
Liz.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought, oh my God, you know, this is magical. This is fantastic. So yes, I'm so glad that I did it.
So you got that. And biggest takeaway, not the fact that you're with Tess, but what's your biggest takeaway of being away by yourself for that 4 weeks?
I think the biggest takeaway is I have got to start trusting myself more. I think I've got to start remembering what makes me happy and what gifts I have got to give people. So just trust.
Trust.
Yeah.
So just on that, when you say what makes you happy, what does make you happy?
Well, sleeping in my own bed.
Yeah. Being away from you. In my own bed.
Lemon water.
Not having bloody coffee till I've eaten.
What's the question?
Pat,
What makes me happy?
What makes you happy? It was what do you take? You've explained what the gold was about. What did you take away from it? But when you said what makes me happy, so what does make Elizabeth Deacle happy?
I think just giving what I've got to give without fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Saying what I have to say without fear of upsetting people. And I think this is what this whole healing thing is about, because for 52 years I have had someone saying, no, you're right, no, do that, write that, press publish, press send, no, you say what you think. It's like a reassurance, constant dripped into my life, and all of a sudden it's gone, and it's like, shit, am I able to do that? Am I able to write that? Am I able to say that on a podcast? Am I able to do this? And actually, Liz, yes, you are. You know, you are. And again, I look to you for that. And I'm sorry if I do that to you, that I put it on you like reassure me, like, you know, because you do an awful lot. I always, that's what I said to you when you were away. It was like, shit, the cord's been cut, you know, where are you to tell me that it's okay, Liz, you're all right, you're doing all right. Yeah, that's fine. And I think it's just learning to trust, and as we all should. I think we all have got, every single one of us has got this beautiful gift that we've been granted when we were born to give to the world. That's all we're here for, is to give back to the world. That's what our purpose is. So stop fucking doubting yourself and going, oh, should I say that? Well, and then people aren't going to like it. They're not going to like me. No. Stop it. You don't need your mum. You don't need Brian. You know inside.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy, when I connect to that and go, yes, but I'm still working on that so much, because it's a work in progress.
Yeah, but that's, so, you know, what I take from that is having the confidence to press send without doubting yourself again and again and again. And you did that because you tried to contact me when I was away, probably driving at the time or with my family or whatever it was, and you still pressed send on that last email you did. And you know, when I wrote back and said, that's a wonderful email, brilliant, Liz, you said, did I say too much? And it was like, no. But you'd already pressed send, so it didn't matter. So you had the confidence to press it. So that's wonderful to see that without any reassurance from anybody else. So well done you. That's great that you've found a bit of yourself again in Paris, and I think that's wonderful to see. I can see it in your face. And this is an emotional thing to talk about, because I knew you were worried about doing this podcast, that you were going to not be able to do it. You'd be too emotional, but it's good that we've done it through a bit of humour and everything on the way.
It is, and I think as human beings, I'll just say this as my last thing, I think as human beings, we start off in life, we're born, and we're this like perfect thing, and then we change something to adapt to that, we give to that, we stop doing that because that person doesn't like that. Oh no, that's not the way you should do that, so stop doing that, and do that because that makes people happy. And you kind of like, you forget who you really are, don't you? And this is what I was saying to you earlier today. It's like, you just you become a person that, you know, if I say that, you know, it'll make my mum laugh and she'll be happy about that, or I better not say that because so and so doesn't like that. But when you are given that, and I don't know if you ever would be, I don't know if anyone is
truly themselves. I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to meet that person who was just truly, truly themselves.
Yeah, all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And didn't give a shit about. But I'm not aiming to be that person. I'm just aiming to be better than the person who is too scared to, be herself for fear of judgment. So, oh God, I feel like I've just rambled on.
Really? No, you're just telling it as it is, and
Yeah.
that's what we do with this type of style of podcast. I think Sadhguru can put it into simple terms of, when you see young children, 2, 3, 4 years old, blissfully happy. So by the time you get to 30, you should be unbelievably happy. And leave it at that for you to work that out, because it's only you that can make yourself blissfully happy at 32 or 52 or 53, because that's it. You can go, oh, life gets in the way, and it's like, yes, but you were happy then, you can be happy again. Yeah, and that's not me saying it, but you know what I'm trying to say is what you've just said in a roundabout way. It's just having that confidence again to do it.
And I want to just say before we go, and we will go now, but I want to just say, because I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast have lost people. Like 99% of the people listening to this podcast will have lost someone close to them in their life. And I think it's really important to be able to express your emotions, feel your emotions coming in, cry or laugh or get angry or whatever it is that you do, whatever emotion is with you, and let it go through you and out to the other side, and not try and block it and not try and hold on to it. This goes for happiness as well.
Yes.
Sometimes I find myself so happy and I'm like, I don't want to change anything. No one do anything now. Like, no, we're not leaving this restaurant. We're all really happy now. So,
stay here.
suddenly don't pick up your phone because we're all happy now. So don't do that. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't, no.
And the same as grief. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It comes in, you experience it, and it goes out. And then another one comes in, and it's like a train coming through you.
Yeah.
And to be able to realise that and not be afraid of it, and not be afraid, if you're going to cry, then you're going to cry. That's fine. That's emotion. That's healthy.
Yep.
It's healthy to do that. I think that's the biggest thing I want to tell people is don't be afraid of those emotions. They're not going to stay with you forever. They're going to come and they're going to go through. And that's the wonderful thing about life.
Yep.
There's another one right behind it.
Yep.
It's coming right behind it. Just let it come through. Experience it. Enjoy it. If it's a sad emotion, it's not going to last. It's going to come through, and that's the biggest thing I wanted to share with everyone out there that's grieving, because this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Yeah.
And I want to share that.
No, well, that's great. I think we should leave that there.
Yes.
And
so I'm now going to be sharing some video diary.
Yes, this is going to do some video diaries.
Yes.
Now. Yeah. I think there's 3 of them, is there maybe?
Yeah,
something like
there
that.
is. Yeah, hopefully if they're too long, then just come back to them. But
No.
thank you so much. Thank you, Bri, for the podcast, because I didn't really want to do this. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like
you didn't feel quite right tonight to do it, but it was just like, let's just do it. And if it doesn't, we can just do it again tomorrow night.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So you can say your goodbyes, and I'll say goodbye.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for being with me in particular. I know. Do you know what? Again, so grateful that the people that I have got around me, who have had around me in the last few years, to be on the highs and the lows with me. It's been the most humbling and grateful experience that I can ever imagine. And just to know that you're listening to this, and to know that you are there. And I just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you for giving me the safety of being able to open up like this. So until next time, I will speak to you soon.
Yep. So kia kaha, stay strong. And that's not just in your body, that's in your mind as well. That's what kia kaha means. It's not just a big warrior saying. It means about being strong in your mind to be able to face the world. Kia u, stay true to yourself. And always remember to keep moving forward. It's the only way. Keep moving.
Yeah.
Don't stop and dwell. Just keep moving. See you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Here I am in Paris, doing my video diary. Outside a flower shop on a street, we've just had a croissant and a coffee, and it's Sunday morning. I'll try and give you a pan round. To be honest, I didn't plan this location. It was just the time that I've been on my own. I've just nipped out. Tess is back at the cafe writing, and I just nipped out for a quick walk and thought I would come here and do this. Oh, what has Paris been like? Every day has been different, but I suppose the biggest thing that has stood out to me about this month in Paris, we're 2.5 weeks through now, hopefully you can hear me. What has stood out to me in this month in Paris has been the time that I have spent with Tess. It's been, I never, it's really weird because it's your daughter and you know you're with them and you see them every day if they still live at home, but we've never ever spent time like this together as a mother and daughter. Not being with Brian at first was just bizarre, so weird, and yeah, it was just, it's been a real opening to a different relationship between us, more like friends rather than, and I don't want to say, oh yeah, we're friends, we're not mother and daughter, because obviously she's my daughter, but the relationship shifts when it's just you two. I suppose that's what it must be like if you were a single mum, you know, or a single dad. But yeah, it's given us the chance. It's given me the chance to really, really, really get to know her and be with her 24 hours a day. And I can't imagine a time that I would have been able to do that otherwise. And I did it with my mum. You know, my mum was a single mum for a while, and we went to Greece together, and I always remember that trip together, and I always thought one day I'd like to do that with my daughter, and here I am doing it in Paris. So it's been divine, challenging at times, because again you're not used to like spending so much time, but we've been living like locals in Paris. We've hired bikes, you know, we've got a month's pass on the metro, we cook at home a lot, we go out for coffee and croissant, we go to bookshops, museums, just living the dream, really, living the dream, you know, but not in a touristy way, which has been fantastic, which is just what we wanted. It was a bit of a shock when we first got here because Tess was hoping that Paris was going to be somewhere that she'd want to live, and when we first got here, she decided pretty quickly, God, that's bright, she decided pretty quickly that she wouldn't, at the moment, that's what I said to her. I said, look, you know, you can change. I said, you might come back here in 6 months, you might come back here with a friend or the love of your life or whatever. Not that I'm not the love of her life, but, you know, and you'd change. But at the moment, she doesn't want to live here. So as soon as we established that, it was almost like, right, we can relax now. Because I was actually thinking, God, I hope we're not going to spend all our time going around looking for flats and, you know, like areas where she could live. But it's just been fantastic. Like I say, missed Bri. I want to say at the beginning, not that I don't miss him now, but I'm sort of used to it, and also to be able to see him. I've been watching his videos and his photos of what he's doing with his brother and Sonny in Norway, and it's just to see him relaxing and just again a different side of him that you don't see when you're husband and wife and you spend all day with each other, and when you work together you don't see that. So to be able, it's almost like watching a film of someone else, You know, like, oh, I know this person, but I don't know that side of that person. And obviously he's with his brother and his son, and he's having a ball, and it makes me really, really happy to see that. And it makes me really, really happy to be able to have spent this time, to be spending this time with Tess in Paris. It's a beautiful city. The Parisian people are lovely, absolutely lovely. It's a bike-friendly city. The food is fabulous. It's expensive. It's really expensive. But like I say, we tend to be, you know, we'll eat in 2 nights and then we'll go out for a meal. And then when we go out for a meal, we go to brasseries, to tobacs, and to little street corner places. I've never eaten so many steak and chips in all my life, but luckily I love steak and chips with pepper sauce, so that's good. But yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been everything I could have hoped it to be, and just to be able to get this time with her, like I say, to be able to see Brian happy, to be able to feel happy, and just have that space, you know, just have that space. It's funny because this is it's Sunday morning now, that's why it's so quiet, and we've come out to this little cafe in the middle of nowhere. Well, it's not the middle of nowhere, but it's a quieter part of Paris. And to be in a city that is so busy, so full of people, everywhere you look there's people, and yet feel a sense of space. And I don't quite know why that is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I don't speak the language, so I'm not involved in their conversations, or I don't know anyone, so I don't get, you know, I'm looking for people I know. It's a wonderful feeling, and I always feel it when I come to busy cities, a feeling of freedom, you know, that space. And so, oh, here we are. Look, we're at this station. I don't know if you can see that, Field de Calvaire. Yeah. So that's it from me. It's just, I'm sure we're going to do a podcast talking about our individual trips. I'll walk through now. I'll walk back to this thing. We're going to do a podcast talking about our individual trips. But I did want to do a video diary halfway through to let you know how it was all going and how I was feeling, and yeah, it's been quite wonderful. It really has. It's been quite wonderful to be able to say now, I spent time in Paris with my daughter. I spent time with her, and I don't think many people get to be able to say that. So I feel very, very lucky that I can. And proud of myself actually for being able to button it when I needed to. All parents out there watching that will know what I'm saying. I've just been going with the flow, honestly. For someone in mine and Brian's relationship, it's usually me that says, you know, what we're going to do and what we're doing, and you know. But this month, no, I've just taken a back seat. I've been like, yeah, just do whatever you want to do. I'll do whatever you want to do. Just tell me where to go and I'll go there. So that has also been really refreshing. Anyway, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's sunny and it's beautiful temperature, and I'm really excited about going to Athens and seeing Sunny and Bri. I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, I'll be somewhat sad to close this little experience that me and Tess have had together, because what a memory we've created. And I'm so happy to have been able to do that. All right, so there she is over there in that little cafe. In fact, I'll walk you over there and then you'll be able to see. We've just had the most delicious croissant and cappuccino. We cycled here on our bikes, and what did people do without Google? What did we do before we had the internet to type in best bakery near me? I don't know, but it's bloody brilliant being able to do that. It's been so easy to navigate this city, and like I say, it's been no rush, just taking it easy and enjoying every minute of it. Okay, I'll cross the road now. In fact, what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around so you can see her. Hang on. So there we are. great. There we go. She doesn't know it's gone on YouTube. Right. Thank you so much for being here on this video diary, and speak to you soon. Pardon. I'm coming down a side street on the way to the supermarket. There's a little side street and it's not as busy as everywhere else. And this is where I'm going to make the video. And I don't even know if we will publish this video. Oh, there's a little park there. I'm going to go in there. There's a little park, little children's park. Probably just think this weirdo coming in, doing a video of children. In fact, actually, yeah, might not be good. Well, there's no one here, so I'll just stay in here. Oh, this is nice. I just wanted to update, because I know my last video was very much, oh, it's nice in here, was very much busy and positive, and yeah, you know, and I know that's great, but I also thought while I was walking to the supermarket then, actually I should just share this update with you and give you the good, the bad and the ugly, which is what we always try and do. I'm just finding Paris to be really, I didn't know I was until today. We went to a beautiful, beautiful library. We almost didn't go because Tess was like, why do we need to go? What do you want to go to a library for? But I'd read about this. In fact, she was the one that told me about it. She'd seen it on TikTok, this library with a beautiful dome, and it was supposed to be so fantastic. And so I said, yeah, we'll go there. And we went to this library. I think it was called the Bibliothèque Nationale France Richelieu, that was it. Bibliothèque Richelieu. If you're ever in Paris, go and see it. And I walked in and we went to the Oval Room, and it's like something out of Harry Potter. It's this magnificent room with this huge high ceiling in the shape of an oval. The ceiling is made of stained glass, I think, and inside are just rows and rows of desks. And those, you know, those green lights that you always see in films where people are studying. I never thought they were a real thing. And like this little like smoking lamp, you know, like a little lamp on a wooden table. And I walked in and it was filled with people, mostly students, and books, which just makes me so happy. And you could have heard a pin drop in there, and I just wanted to start crying. I was just like, oh, thank God, you know, just peace. It was such a big space with so many people, but there wasn't an ounce of noise. And I realised I just took a really deep breath, just like I just did then, and I realised how much that makes me happy, to be in silence, in solitude, in quietness. It really, really, really speaks to my soul. And that's probably why I live where I live and I do what I do and all the rest of it. And as much as I'm having a great time, we are having a lovely time. Whoops, just put my finger over the lens. I just wanted to stay in that library. We've got a week left, and I thought I wanted to stay here. Just leave me here and don't come back until it's time to go. And I find the whole noise and people and you know what, the other thing that I'm really, really disappointed in myself, and I no doubt I might have said this on the podcast already, I don't know. In case I didn't, then I'm disappointed in myself for the fact that yesterday when I went to the supermarket, the woman who was serving me on the checkout was so rude, absolutely, like snatching my money, throwing me the bag, scowling at me, just so rude. And I was disappointed in myself because I reacted in the same way when I left. I was like, I'm not going to say thank you. And I just took my change, took my card, and I was gone. And I was walking up the street and I thought, oh my God, no, why did you behave like that? Why did you do that? I just felt shitty, you know, I just felt like crap. Like I'd added to her misery. And not only that, made myself miserable. And it made me appreciate just being able to, I suppose, live in a country, have the life that I've got, where I am able to practice kindness and mindfulness because I'm given the space to, I'm given the freedom to, and I take back any judgment that I ever had of anyone where I'm like, oh, you should just be nicer, you should just smile, it costs nothing to smile, and it's not until you are in this mess of people that are so busy and so consumed with whatever problems they've got going on. That's why I said to Tess, I said, no one smiles, and she's like, well, they're just trying to protect themselves. They don't want to smile at people. But I find that really, really hard when I get onto a tube or metro or walk into a cafe and there's masses of people, to not get eye contact with strangers and smile, because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to, oh, hi, oh, hi. I'm used to that. And so not to do that feels like you've been stripped of something, a bit of yourself, So there's that. And yeah, I just wanted to share. We've got 4 or 5 days left. And I said to Tess, tomorrow can we just come back to this library and we can sit here and read. Actually, she was all for it, which was great. She's feeling it too. So I wanted to share that. I love Paris. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. We sat on the Seine tonight and we had a glass of wine together. Well, I did. Tess doesn't drink, but she tried. Give her a bless her. She did say, oh, go on then, I'll have one. And then she just left it all, so I just guzzled that as well. And we watched the boats and the people, and it was beautiful. And I love it. It's a beautiful city. But I miss Brian so much. I missed you, Brian. I miss you. And I miss just having a little bit of space, just having that space, that time. I suppose as well, you're in a city, you're in Paris, and you feel like you should be going out and doing things. You don't want to sit in your apartment and, you don't want to do that because you're in Paris, so go out and do stuff. So, yeah. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying now. It was obviously that important. But just wanted to share the ups and downs. I know, like I say, you'll appreciate that. I hope you will appreciate that. Can't wait to see Brian and Sunny in Athens next week. But at the same time, I am appreciating where I am. I'm just had a little bit of a struggly day today. So, yeah. Okay. Speak to you soon. Hello. I was meant to do this update in Paris. Had all full intentions of doing this update in Paris, but you are getting it from Athens. We arrived in Athens last night at our Airbnb. Brian and Sunny met us from the airport, and I got up this morning and I thought, I didn't do my last diary entry about Paris before we left. So here we are. I wanted to say, there's so much I want to say about Paris. Not so much about Paris actually, but about the time I spent with Tess in Paris. I don't want to cry. I think I'm a bit tired after the flight yesterday, but I just came over all emotional when I said that. But yeah, I'm aware that like the last video diary that I did, I was a little bit stressed and I was in the middle of it and missing Bri, and it was all quite a lot. And reflecting back, and obviously, you have days that are like that, and I'm glad I shared that because it was real. And it's good to know that people don't go to Paris and spend every day going la 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 la, ooh la la, this is great. So I'm glad I shared that, but I did want to share that. I'll come sit down in the corner here. I'm on the rooftop in our Airbnb in Athens, and all around me are buildings. For as far as the eye can see, apart from in the very, very far distance, there is like a mountain hill thing, which I'm sure is probably really historic, and I've just gone and called it a mountain or a hill thing. But anyway, there you go. But yeah, everywhere around me is buildings. Brian and Tess have gone out to buy a SIM for Tessa's phone, which is super cheap here. And Sunny is still in bed. It's like 12 o'clock. But they're just shattered. I can see both Brian and Sunny are shattered. I'm sorry I'm spinning you round. You must be feeling a bit sick. I'll sit down and keep still. Yeah, the time in Paris with Tessa was just... I can't believe that she's my daughter, and for 20 years I've never had that opportunity to really get to know her like that, and vice versa for her, for me as well. I'm sure she would say the same. And I think what a gift to be able to do that. What a gift to be able to spend a month one-on-one with one of your kids and see the ups and the downs and their fears and their dreams and their insecurities and their brightness and their wisdom and all of those things. Because I had no one else to talk to, and you know I'm a talker, Tess was listening the whole time, and she's such a good listener. And we talked about so much, you know, about her life, about what she wants, about my mum, about grief, about healing, about the importance of connection, about everything that we talked about. And yeah, it was I can't think of a better word than just a gift, you know, just that, to experience that, because we go through our days, well, we do as a family, busy, and yeah, we sit down for dinner as a family. Thank God we do that, because that's, you know, that's when we get our chance to talk. We always make a point of sitting down for dinner every night if they're not working. But you know, I realised afterwards, I thought, I don't really know her, like, you know, I don't know her. I haven't been able to get to really deeply have that conversation, because there's always either someone else there or somewhere else to go or something else to do. And we have had times, we went to Napier house sitting for a week, and, you know, Wellington, and I'm not saying I haven't spent time with her, but that one-on-one for a month in Paris as well, we're both on neutral ground, we've both never been before, and it was just divine. It was absolutely divine. And I thought afterwards, you know, I remember going to Greece with my mum when I was in my 20s. I took her to Greece. She'd never been on an aeroplane, and I took her to Greece from England. And we spent 2 weeks, and that was a completely different trip to what we've just had, because my mum hated every minute of it. But still, it was a time that, no, she didn't hate every minute of it. That's not fair. She didn't. She didn't like it as much as I thought she was going to. But anyway, that's a different story. But, you know, I remember having that time with her, my mum, and then again coming to New Zealand with my mum. When Tess was only 3, we came to New Zealand and spent 3 weeks together in New Zealand. But again, my sister was there, and we were, you know, we had Tess. And so I am so bloody grateful, even though it's cost us a flipping fortune. Honestly, we've spent so much money in Paris, because like a coffee is $10, you know, like, oh, it's just so expensive. It's so expensive. But that aside, I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know what, Liz, that is a priceless experience you have just had with your daughter. You will never, ever forget that, and neither will she. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come on and say, it's been bliss. It's been lovely. And also, I mean, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, so forgive me if I have, but also having that time and space to be able to, for me, to go inwards and work on myself and face up to things that are still very prominent, namely the grief of my mum. Being in Paris without Brian and without work and without the house and just the normal stuff that goes with stuff like that. Even though I was working like for a couple of hours a day, but it's just not having to answer to anyone, it's just not having to, well, what do you want to do? Oh, what should we have for dinner? I don't know. It was just having that space. I mean, I know I had Tess, but we were both very easygoing with each other. And I think it's made me realise that I've got so much. I enjoy time on my own. I really enjoy, and that's not to say I don't want to spend time with Brian. That's not what I mean. It's just I enjoy time on my own, and I know he does as well. I know you do, Brian. So when's your next trip? But yeah, just to be able to have that time to, and I didn't expect to work on myself. I didn't expect to buy a book by Brianna Wise called The Mountain Is You and go through it and not The Mountain Is You. I've already got that book, the Pivot Year. I keep talking about this book because I love it so much, and just to really sit and read it and then sit and think about it and think, that's how I feel about this and that. To do inner work, to have the space and the time and the privilege and the gift to be able to just have to stop and go, oh my God, that happened last year. That's all that happened. And I won't lie, I have been trying really hard. When we were in New Zealand, I've been trying really hard to just not push it away, but oh, Liz, don't keep crying. Oh, Liz, don't keep going on about that. But I was reading this book and it said about grief and any emotion, actually, not just grief, any emotion, fear, anger, anxiety, or any emotion that you experience. I don't know if that applies to positive emotions as well. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm trying to think as I'm talking. But to let it come through you, a healthy mindset, a strong mind is someone who can let their emotions, bring their emotions to them, acknowledge them, experience them, and then let them go through you. And that's what I did in Paris. And there were so many times where we were having dinner, me and Tess, and I would just start crying, and I'd just say, just give me a minute, and it would go, it would come and it would go, and it was an experience. I was talking about my mum or whatever, or Brian, and it would come, and I was sad, and it would go, it would lift, and it would go, and it was like, there, it's gone. I didn't hold on to it. I didn't give it, not energy, but I didn't cling to it so it wouldn't leave me. And I think back in New Zealand, I know what I was doing, especially like the last 6 months since we came back from Canada, because it was all like, positive, moving forward now, that's great, that's all done now, and this is me now, I've been skiing and I'm all sorted. And actually I wasn't, and I'm not, and I don't think anyone is when they lose someone so prominent in their life, two people, in such a short space of time. And I realised that what I was doing was, especially if I was around Brian, because I didn't want to worry Brian. I didn't want Brian to think, oh God, I'm not doing a good enough job with her, keeping me. Oh, that sounds awful. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it, but just Brian's not doing a good enough job as a husband, trying to keep me supported because she keeps crying all the time. So what I was doing was, when I wanted to cry, I would either push it back down and go, no, don't cry, or I would go off on my own and cry, and then it's sort of like built up, Oh God, this is turning into a really heavy note, diary thing, but this is how I'm feeling, so I've got to tell you. And so being in Paris, I was able to just lay in bed and cry And it only lasted like a minute, and then it would go, and it was like, oh, I miss you, Mum. Oh God, oh, I'm so, remember this time last year, oh, this, I miss Brian, oh, I'm crying. And then it would go, and I would feeling joy and happiness and lighter, and it just, I suppose this is what a healing journey looks like. And I never expected that. I thought a healing journey, when I said we were going to come away and come on this, and it was going to be a year of healing and connecting, I thought that what was going to happen was all my worries were going to melt away, and I was going to open, just be like, I'm running out into a big open field now, and I'm leaving those dark woods behind me, and this is me, this is the new me. But actually what's happened is I've created a path through those woods, and I'm enjoying walking down them, knowing that there is a big open meadow at the other end. That's what's happening. That's what's happened in the last month in Paris. And I feel honoured to be able to share that with you. I really do. I feel lucky that I've been able to do this, that I'm learning all this stuff. I'm reading so much and writing and learning so much stuff about this, the importance of letting your grief, your emotions, your feelings come to you and show themselves. And then the importance of being able to say, okay, on you go, just on your way. And the importance of being able to look at my gorgeous daughter and think, I'm her mum. I'm making the memories that one day she will remember. I don't want to say it when I'm dead, because I do think that, don't I have thought that. I don't think we can help but think that, but you're making the memories, creating the life right now. And it's been bliss. It's been fantastic. I hope all that made sense. I think it did. And I know that there are many of you on this podcast that have lost someone very close to them, partners, parents, even children, which I can't imagine. And I know that you appreciate someone else voicing their experience so you don't feel alone. And I really hope this video entry has done that for you, to give you a little bit of comfort, to think, it's not just me. Really hope that's the case. Again, thank you so much for watching and listening and being here. And the next video diary, I don't know where it'll be. Let us know what you think of these video diaries. I hope you enjoy them. I really, really appreciate you giving me your ear to listen this long. And I think you're wonderful. Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
I've got to say, Brian, you've just picked on me for the first third of this podcast about the fact that I'm not able to relax. I'm just going to turn it on you now.
Okay.
Because I have got absolutely no problem whatsoever in not cleaning, right?
Well, you never have.
Well, no.
You haven't got a problem with that at all.
That's right.
No,
That's right, Brian.
I don't know why you've been telling anyone. Come and have a look at the house. Jeez.
No, Brian. But what I say to you, my friend, is